What's so special about March?
I probably have a dentist appointment.
Oh,
or eye doctor appointment.
yes.
I think I need to turn my hat around so I don't dox myself.
Oh, you got a little company merch on?
Not mine, but the other place.
Oh. Oh,
I got the Twitch alert. I got the Twitch alert. Got the Twitch
Hey,
alert.
everybody should sign up for Twitch alerts. I guess.
Agenda's ready.
You know, honestly, guys, I feel like we now have a much better show than we did the last time we, you know, when we were doing live, before we went podcast only. And it's a damn shame that nobody has been watching us, as far as I can tell. It doesn't seem like anybody's in the chat or whatever.
I want to. I need to get some shelf important swag and start wearing it to work and like try to get some people to listen at least.
A cult following.
Since I'm no longer ashamed of my stuff.
Have we joked about you passing out test answers live on stream before? Because I think that's probably something.
Oh no, that'd be a good. I could be like, okay.
That'd be like, we'll advertise it as Twitch drops. We'll be like every 30 minutes, I'll drop some answers to the test. If you're watching when I do it, you'll get it.
You'll have an answer, and I'll be like,
shelf importance biology Twitch drops.
The next answer to the exam on Friday is A.
Bob, I'm not even shitting you, dude. If you wanted to brother,
hear me out.
If we did like a patrons only bonus episode, and just every week it's just like an hour, and you just teach me stuff about biology.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah,
I love that. And I
loved our conversation in Oshkosh, man. That was fun.
But I still don't understand how there's untethered nucleotides just floating around in the suit, you know. And we just really get into some shit because I still have a lot of questions because for some reason,
and that's just about one thing. I wish all my students were like that.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm convinced that I'm gonna be the person who figures out abiogenesis. That are just like,
I thought there was just a huge finding on that recently.
I could be wrong, Blake, but it could be your delusions of grandeur that make you feel that way.
It is that. It is my deep psychosis that is just getting worse and worse every day.
Do we still have our? I don't know. Can we still buy shelf important swag? Is that site?
I don't think so because we're not on that John anymore. But
okay.
I still have all the stuff. We could just do a custom order. We could just order some T-shirts.
Yeah. Okay.
And some teeny weeny beanies.
I could make a small. I mean, it would take a little convincing because it'd be kind of a pain in my ass. But I could make a small run of T-shirts if I had to.
Really?
Enough for us to just for ourselves and to, if a couple to pass out or something.
What about? Do you have your own? I don't know screen printer.
It's more of a Cricut. It's called a Cricut Squirt, and which is like a Cricut, but it's smaller.
So it's not called a Cricut screen. I was going to go around saying that.
No, I have a vinyl cutter that can be used to cut. You would get colored heat transfer vinyl.
Right,
so it's a little bit different than a screen printing process. But for the most, the shirt you're wearing, I could make that pretty easily. That kind of thing, one single color screen, simple shapes kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I was thinking that I would like to get something like that. The crappy thing is, I don't know. I mean, I guess. Because I got my Tints and Tone shirts at Southwest Graphics, I think it was. And you had to buy a minimum of 12 or something like that. And it was It's got $180. It wasn't. I don't know. I guess it wasn't too bad, but
Do you
Anyway.
realize that all you have to do to make a much more profitable website is just drop the two ends and just get titsandtoes.com? Did you check to
Yeah.
see if Tits and
So-
Toes was available? And it's
so
just
when I first started using Sherwin-Williams, and like I got a pro account and all that, I went up and I said I'd like to put this on my account, and he's like, "What's the?" And I said Tints and Tones really quick, and he was kind of like doing one of these like, so what is that? And I said Tints and Tones. I said not tits
Mhm.
and toes.
yeah.
We
Tits
didn't
and
think
Toes will be
about
more
that,
popular, I
Kenneth.
think.
Oh yeah, I did.
we didn't workshop that enough, and so you just let me do it.
Oh yeah. I think it's great.
Oh man.
Well,
Anyway.
welcome to Shelf Importance.
Hey,
I
you
think
need
I
to-
finally
need to-
actually it's going to start with me this time. Is that accurate?
You need to have. the
Hey, I'm your
sponsor-
host, Akintar.
I'm your host, Cricket Squirt.
and I'm Dingle Fairy Bob.
And I'm Yukon. Same
it
name
bother-
as always.
Does it bother anybody else the way that Dingle spells fairy in his name?
That's a pretty bad
It's
way
bothered
to
me for a
spell
few
it.
weeks.
I'm missing
now,
an
and
Should it be-
I finally gotta say
IRE?
something.
F-A-E.
I do FAE, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, I think that's what I was trying to go for. I'll change that. Can I change
Yeah.
that? Without,
Yeah,
like-
Dingle.
Yeah, it's
darling.
really hard.
There it is.
It's the
There
three
it is.
dots next to where it says your name, next to your 5 bars of singular service up here.
It's
Oh, there
a
it is.
challenge. It's a challenge for
Edit
sure.
name.
I promise I didn't. I'm not like a 4D chess
There
plan
we go.
10 in advance kind of guy, and I promise I did not plan ahead to prank you guys with a joke about how cricket pitches are actually called squirts. That was the name that was in my head, but I'm so pleased that Squirt weaseled its way into my username today because I cannot wait to talk about the weird finger squirt incident that happened in the book.
oh
This-
yeah.
But if we're not ready to transition to book talk yet,
You're
then
also
me-
behind on. You're behind on
squared.
sexy time. Both of you guys are.
I know.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
haven't
I-
updated your
This
our
is
shared Discord sex journal.
this.
My,
Wait, are we supposed to be sharing responsibilities on the sex journal?
Mhm.
Because I should. Or are you
We
gonna
have a
say Bob?
sex journal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the media notes,
Oh, okay.
which will be henceforth called the sex journal.
Mhm.
I just want to say I just noticed looking over at the Twitch stream manager that we gained a follower 9 days ago.
Ooh, ooh,
Gold.
yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Nice.
So Dan
maybe-
Dantanova, thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow.
I've got a.
It gets
I've
weirder.
got a hypothesis about how that happened. At some point, Twitch has to put every stream just kind of like into somebody's algorithm to see how it sorts so that they can optimize their content for white nationalist stuff. And they probably what happened is that just like what's his username? Danny Darko.
Dantanova.
All right, Danny Darko. Probably
Yep.
Dantanova was just scrolling along on TikTok on what is this platform
Twitch
called?
Talk.
On Twitch Talk. They're just going Nick Fuentes video to Milo Yiannopoulos live stream to whatever, right? And then it's just like, hey, why don't you check out these shelf importance guys? And then he watched it, and because we're so awesome at what we do, liked us so much that he gave us a follow. So thank you. I already forgot your name again. Dan Tanovic.
Dantanova.
Got it.
That's all for
What
today, I guess.
What a nice companionable silence.
Let's just go ahead and sign
What-
off on that.
What do
Somebody
you
needs
guys
to give us a
what
real
you guys
band
been up to? What else what have you guys been reading? Besides
Well, my
our-
ceiling fell in.
Oh my
So-
god, yeah.
How's
My-
that?
I haven't been up to a whole lot other than
Is it to the outside or inside your house? And now you can see through to the second floor, and you can finally put in that fireman pole.
little column A, little column B is
Fuck.
the answer to that. It's
So you could put a
God,
trampoline at the bottom of the pole. You could like have a V pole. So you go down from inside. You bounce off the floor in your first floor, then you go out the outside,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that
Okay.
would work.
That
Now, my
sucks,
house is
man.
extremely fucking weird. And I've learned a lot about some other bad things that I need to deal with real soon. And everything is going fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's
Yeah.
fine.
But for context, we got home from a weekend trip this weekend, and a bunch of water had apparently got into my house and caused the
God.
insulation to weigh so much that it fell off of the ceiling. And
Yeah.
So when you said you discovered other problems, you meant related to the ceiling falling in?
well, there's this like weird attic space that is
Well,
sort of the
I know how to
super
do
old,
stuff. So if
super-
you need help, let me know.
okay, thank you. Super old, super dirty, and at some point, apparently, there's been some animals up in there. And as far as I know, there's not like live raccoons in there now, but somebody definitely had like a big ass nest that I need to kind of clean up. And
Put the kibosh on. Yep.
because it also probably is not going to look so good for the insurance adjusters that are coming out soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Probably
yep.
shouldn't be talking about those on.
Oh yeah. Well, I wanted to. I forgot to message you about it. I was going to say the same thing as Bob. Over the past couple of years, I've done a lot of water repair and waterproofing and fixing things from water getting into our house in various places. So I've got a lot of tools and extra material. If you haven't fixed that yet and decide that you need to,
And guns.
Well, I'll tell you what.
it's just sitting in my basement. As far as I can tell, I won't need it again.
Okay.
I don't
I'll
know.
tell you
man.
what, it'd be a
What
lot
if
more
we go on our
fun doing
adventure?
housework with you guys than with my dad.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I don't know about more. It depends on your definition of fun.
Yeah.
If you enjoy that kind of thing.
We'd
It
all
gives you
get to,
joke fuel.
we'd all get a good experience of seeing a side of each other that we don't normally see, because normally we're like hanging out, and I don't normally see what you look like after you've just smashed your thumb with a hammer or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know what your style is whenever a project is going really bad, because I grew up in a house where my dad's style was to like take whatever tool he was using and literally just throw it off of the roof when he got mad.
I do that. Yeah,
so-
and swear a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might feel right at
We'll
home.
fit. We'll fit right in, man.
yeah. Okay.
I'm there with you on the swearing.
Yeah,
Like we've had some pretty not serious, but just like home projects that have gotten like extremely frustrating in the past.
Mhm.
Like we
Yeah.
were trying to put a light in this room or one of our rooms. Got easier after figuring it out the first time. But the first time I was having to go up and down the stairs to turn on and off the
Breaker
fuse box.
yeah. DIY time is anger time.
Yeah.
It just
you
is.
just gotta
It just
you just
is.
gotta embrace the zen of the stuck.
I rage the most, I think, when I have to do things above my head.
Yes.
Like,
Mhm.
You
When I
mean
have to
like
just
physically
constantly, be
doing
like
the
this
yeah?
and doing
Plumbing.
things.
So you're laying
Or-
on your back and you're plumbing.
Fucking
You're
hate
like,
plumbing. Fuck
lighting?
that shit.
Actually, I don't mind. I don't mind plumbing.
Well,
No,
it depends.
well, good.
It
because
depends
I-
how easy that access is. Usually, my experience under the sink kind of stuff, not easy to really do.
Yeah.
This house has different shutoff valves and stuff that makes it a lot easier,
Yeah.
and it eliminated some annoyances. Like I don't know, under your kitchen sink, you got the two doors, right?
Yeah. 2 doors,
Right. Do you have a bar in the middle?
a bar in the middle. Fuck that,
Okay.
right?
See, I don't have one now, and it makes working under there
Nice.
so
Oh.
much better.
That's
But
nice.
my old house did, and my other old house, like they all seem to have that bar in the middle. And
See,
this house did away with it.
It like has that's the kind of thing that has potential to really set me off. But for some reason, with plumbing specifically, I kind of like the puzzle of like finding my chi and like closing my eyes and having to use my hands to find where the thing is, right? And then really flicking the bean back there to get it to get it off.
good old
Yeah.
good old reach around.
See, I'm the
Yeah.
same way, but
Yeah.
with electricity, like that. That's my zen place. Like plumbing, I don't know. I never think I have everything tight enough or it's sealed enough, and I like
Right.
turn it on, and I'm like
Yeah.
just like paranoid
they're-
of like this pinhole leak or something like that.
Because they're like, tighten it, but don't over tighten.
Oh yeah, I know. Fuck
And I'm
those
like, what the
guys.
fuck does that mean?
I know.
Come
See,
on.
Yeah, that's where that's where having really strong grip strength comes in. Because if you tighten as hard as you can with your hand,
Yeah.
that's like a weak tool tighten,
Yeah.
So practice your.
Practice.
Can I also
Practice getting on your pipes, people.
But
Right.
also things that are really tiny
Mhm.
work will fucking
Like
it'll
jerking
fucking
off.
it'll yeah
I'm
jerk-
getting that.
it'll
I used
explode
to
me.
be good with it, but I don't know if like I'm getting older and my reflexes aren't as good anymore. But like some of that stuff, I just feel so stupid with now, like because I'm not moving like I feel like I used to be able to. So
I can see that.
it sucks.
Do you guys know what a bait caster reel is?
No.
I'll take that as a no. All right. I was gonna
What
I
room
was
in the
gonna-
house is it used in?
Fish time with Rich.
No, well, I was gonna kind of springboard off of Kenneth's comment.
Did you
about
almost say spring boner?
springboard?
Did anyone else hear
That's-
that?
That
Well, I
was, no, that
started
was
to say
chapters
springboard.
1 through 5. was
Oh,
the
okay,
spring
yeah.
boner
I started to
stuff.
say springboard, and I'm like, wait, is
By the
that
way,
the
there
right
is
word?
there
Oh
is
yeah,
a,
it
there
is.
is a spring release boner in this book. And
Oh really?
yeah, I'm not sure who's
Man,
is
we're
it-
getting edge to fuck in this book,
Yep.
man.
Anyway, go ahead, Bob.
Well, I was just gonna say that if bait caster reels, if you don't do it right, you can get your line all tangled up. But like if that happens, me getting that untangled is like a zen place for me. I don't know. It's like time
Oh.
stops, and I'm really delicate about it, and I can get it untied, and I can get it untangled. But anyway, that's all.
Yeah,
was just gonna-
I know myself
Fucking
well enough to know that my first
tie
reaction
knots.
would have to be just to cut that and
cut the
remove
line.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, that's gonna send me to a bad place. I can tell.
But so I wanted to add one thing before we get to the book is since we're talking about home repair fiascos this week, my basement started to flood. I was
Oh no.
I was down here and I was walking around, I know, and I went into this one part of our basement that was dark, and I went to go turn the light on, and when I stepped forward to grab, the string for the light, it wasn't I have socks or anything. I had shoes on, but it's like, you when you step in a puddle
Yep.
of water. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I turned the light on, and it had started to flood. And long story short, what happened is so we have a sump pump that pumps water out, and it had been raining a lot, about a week ago. And where it comes out in the ditch, the pipe was kind of clogged, not kind of, but it was clogged up. So I went out there and freezing temperatures in the water and stuff, and unconnected the part that was clogged up, and I was able to get it going. But man, I like everybody in the house. I was like, everybody get up and start grabbing things that are artwork or that are expensive and take it upstairs.
Man.
But yeah, disaster averted. Nothing got damaged or anything.
So your sump effluent pipe got clogged?
Yeah.
Or-
So what happened is I installed it 5 or 6 years ago, and there is kind of like a screen on the end of the pipe as it empties into the ditch so that critters couldn't get in.
Mhm.
Well, when the plumbers came at the beginning of January to fix the drain in a different in our kitchen, they had broken that pipe. And I think what happened is during the breaking and repairing, shit got inside the pipe, which shit wasn't
Mhm.
there before. And it just worked its way down, and it
Yeah.
bumped up against the screen and just caused a clog. And so I was able to get the screen off and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm just gonna go next when it warms up. I'm just gonna go back and just reinstall all new pipe rather than have the patch that they put in there that was bullshit. But anyway,
Mhm.
I'm done. That's it.
Good to have projects.
Yeah, I guess.
It's book time. It's book time.
Sure, let's do book time.
What book? What book? What book are we talking about?
What book we talking about?
This book?
I have that book.
What
We
a
should read
horny
that.
book.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
it's probably time to jack it off.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Who wants to do that on camera?
I should probably stop just like trying to call the shots without even looking at the agenda, but it just
You're
feels
fine.
like the time to jack
We
it
did
up,
our
you know?
introductions, guys. This is our third
Fun.
of 4 episodes on A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah
Mhm,
J.
mhm.
Moss. We are your resident massholes.
I don't feel like
Yeah.
making fun of Sarah J. Moss's name and is probably a super good way to just like set ourselves up for success.
That's
here,
not
you
making
know?
fun of her
Listen,
name. That's using
we're-
the name to create our name
Ma-
for our fandom. It's just like we were.
No,
the
I'm
Hoover-
talking about
Hoover hoes,
the
right?
calling her Maas or whatever you
Sarah
call her last
Maas.
name.
Maas.
I don't think we're cohorts. I think we could be massholes.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I'm soft masshole. I'm enjoying myself.
I mean,
You're a
if all
soft
if,
muscle. Okay. gamer
if
tags.
all
Very
that
supple
Colleen
masshole.
Hoover wrote was Verity like novels,
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to get into it. I didn't hate that book.
Verity.
But-
It was fun.
We gotta have a bonus episode sometime where we talk about the all of the controversy around the Colleen Hoover movie with Blake Lively.
Yeah, we do, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man,
Where the
this-
crawdad
it's-
sings?
No.
No, that's not a coho. It ends with us is what it's called. And there's a bunch of weird shit that's
Okay.
happening, and I have no idea. Somebody,
Oh, is that
Is
the
a
one with like the
monster.
allegations of
Yeah, the sexual harassment
Yeah,
stuff. and
yeah.
crazy
and
man. Somebody's a
the-
monster in that, and it just every time I see a story, it like flips 180 of like who's the bad guy. I feel like
Yeah.
I just don't know anymore.
So yeah, 3rd or 4th episodes in 2 weeks, March 5th. We're gonna be wrapping it up. Probably gonna try and get back into some of our cool stuff like casting.
All right.
We want to do casting. I think we should do our 1-star review reads again. Those don't take up much
That'd be
time
fun.
and they're super fun.
And
We'll get
there'll
our
be a
own rating
lot
of-
of them for this.
And
I'll
there'll
have to-
probably be a lot of them.
Probably
So
won't be a lot.
There
I've
might
got
be
Looks not
at
that
least 2 of them, Kim.
Hey, the party over at you guys' place. He goes he puts 2 fingers in. Before you know it, he's asking for all 5.
Woo!
But yeah, I think
Yeah.
yes, there should be at least 2.
Yeah.
And also,
then-
since you said March 5th, probably not. It'll probably be the following week because I discovered I have to be on site in Louisville for work that week.
Oh no. Okay,
Hey,
so
that's my
maybe
spring
the
break.
week after.
I'll get
We
caught
can-
up.
So
Give
after
it an extra
that,
week
though,
to finish. Yeah.
that's good though because that'll give us an extra week to figure out what the fuck is going on next. Because we had talked about continuing the series, but we had also talked about maybe doing a little role playing. This book just got us so like
Chances
in the
looking
mood
pretty
for
good.
some role playing.
Yeah,
good.
I've
That,
been working on my bat wings.
Yeah, and throwing them out.
Mm-hmm.
But
Look,
we're
and
talking
you guys lead the story, man. If you just want to make it a vampire romantasy, you can do that.
that'd be cool. We're
We
talking.
got
I want to
roles.
roll for some initiative on. No.
Oh my god, can we?
Oh my gosh!
Can we
I have
just
to
have
make-
like 5 episodes where all of us just role play flirting with Kenneth
yeah. Here's what
and
what
just
we're hitting-
and go way too far and be like, do you like this?
Yeah, but
and
in
then-
character creation, you have to roll a D10 one time for wiener size,
Yeah, okay, for sure.
and that's what you get, no matter what.
Oh boy.
D10 feels. I feel like 2d6 would be appropriate. Would be more
Yeah.
appropriate. Max of 12 with an
Yeah.
with an average around 6.
Yeah, you can maybe we'll do 2d8s. You can if you have if you have sexual advantage, you can take the largest of the two.
Anyway, so we're talking about maybe playing a Vampire the Masquerade or D&D 5e, I think is what we had talked about. So that's up in the air. That we'll get that extra week to talk about that. But yeah, now it's time to jack it off. Who wants to read off the back of their book what this book is about?
And remember, jack it off is not, it's not a crash joke or anything. It's just
No.
we're saying we take the book jacket off and
We read it
and read that
to you,
And read
the
it.
shimpies.
We take the jacket off. We jack it off on stream. That's all it
Yeah.
means. Get your mind out of the gutter.
We jack it off into the ears of you,
Yeah.
the shimp sock.
The shimpies.
I feel like mine has a different summary than we've read before. So I'll get it. We just want to do the whole thing. Is that allowed?
Just
Are we
the
going to
back.
get DMCA?
We're
It's
gonna
like
get-
2 paragraphs.
Pharaoh
I did it
has
last
undergone more trials than one human woman can carry in her heart. Though she has now been granted the powers and lifespan of the High Fae, she is haunted by her time under the mountain and the terrible deeds she performed to save the lives of Tamlin and his people. That makes it sound like she was just blowing everybody.
Well, wasn't she?
Her time under the mountain and the deeds she performed. As
Yeah,
her
it
marriage
does.
to Tamlin approaches, Feyre's hollowness and nightmares consume her. She finds herself split into two different
What?
life in the spring court with Tamlin.
You said she finds herself split, and then you literally cut out.
Stop.
She finds herself split into two different people. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Good.
Split down the V.
Split. Yep, exactly. While Feyre navigates a dark web of politics, passion, and dazzling power, a greater evil looms. She might just be the key to stopping it, but only if she can harness her harrowing gifts, heal her fractured soul, and decide how she wishes to shape her future and the future of a world in turmoil.
Mm-hmm. Get
I
it,
feel like
Feyre.
harrowing was a super weird word choice for describing her gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna whisper sexy Akatar world things. Court of dreams. Cauldron. Wait, Akatar ASMR
Shredded.
Yes.
is our new jam.
Wings.
Ribbons.
Ribbons.
Watery bowels. Oh man.
I don't remember seeing ribbons in this book.
She said it a few times. I don't have an
Yeah.
ebook to search for it, but I do
Yeah.
know it's been said. Shredded is quite a bit
Oh, yeah.
more.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
shredded.
Yeah.
I think the new one, this book is like broken or broke. Like it broke me. I'm broken.
Yeah, that is a
Like,
good
that's
one. And
in here a
also,
lot.
here in the last third of the book, impressive length is a big one that she's said multiple times and continues to.
Yeah.
There's got to be like more than one way to say big dick.
Yeah.
Impressive length is not all there is.
I'm not the only one that's like, I kind of read that and I'm like, I feel like you're being a little condescending, Feyre. Like, oh, it's impressive. Like,
super big.
Yeah, and actually, we don't know what impressive. She's kind of a simple girl. It doesn't necessarily mean he's got a big Johnson, right? Or big cauldron wand or whatever you want to.
Maybe in the Fae realm, it is desirable to have an average length penis, and the closer to average length you get, the more desirable.
Or maybe she's impressed because she's never seen a penis so small.
it's
I'm actually
it's
really
an impressive length, very compact.
Yeah.
You know, he never did go and measure his wings next to Cassian. So
Yeah.
he said he would do it. He hasn't done it yet.
Cassian's got that dog in him. You know he's got that red rocket. Bat rocket, whatever. No, Tamlin's got the red rocket.
Yeah.
So we're all in a little bit different places, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, in the
Yeah.
reading,
I'm caught up.
I'm ahead by a lot.
Oh,
You just couldn't stop.
No, we're doing some travel this weekend, and then also with kids' school stuff and how that's falling. I anticipated my next couple weeks
Okay.
having less reading time, so I went ahead and continued,
Smart.
so I wouldn't get behind. Just a lot more sex stuff. There's a couple cool things in there, but
Learn some new moves.
We finally.
Yeah, there's
getting
actually-
some
I do-
real
I do-
quality smut.
I do want
500
to spoil one.
Even for me.
Even for you, yeah, because I don't want to forget to say it. But
Okay.
there is a moment. You know how like when you have a boner, and it's in your pants, and then you pull it down, and it does like the spring boost.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Nah.
So make sure you
No.
don't miss it, because it was like the high. And I was like walking on a treadmill when I was reading this chapter, and I was like,
Hopefully you're walking on it at home.
no, I'm not. It's public treadmill. It was. I mean, it was weird to be at the gym with an erection, but here we are.
Yeah.
You know what? So when you're reading at the gym and you just set your book down on the machine.
Yeah, there's like an area,
Your
where you
ebook.
can like set a phone or an iPad.
Yeah.
I set it there.
How big do you make the text? You have to make it pretty large.
I think it's already. I have it like one click larger than default.
That's it. When I'm walking, I blow that text up, man.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. But I'm walking on a different machine than you are. I'm bouncing up and down a lot more. So
Gotcha,
He puts his
gotcha.
back into it.
With the running.
Well, and I do a
No,
high.
I don't read on
I
my
also
rower.
do a high
Oh, okay.
incline walk, so I'm like leaning forward a little bit more
Oh, okay.
naturally.
you put your
So-
peepers on. Do you need any of you guys need readers?
No, I actually
Yeah.
don't really
We've
need
never
glasses.
talked
I don't
about.
really need the glasses at all.
No. You wear peepers? Okay.
The glasses help, but I'm not required to read them. They
Oh.
sharpen up text for me, but I can still read
Okay.
without them.
Okay.
Mostly I wear them because I think they soften my appearance.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got angry, like comic book angry eyebrows, and I look like kind of a prick. So the glasses help out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
See.
Cool. Oh God. Calm down, Ken.
Yeah.
What did we do wrong?
Sir.
Hey, there was
This is
something,
Wendy's.
Blake. There was something that you said that we needed to remember to do when we go live. Has that been done?
You're talking to the wrong guy. Oh yeah, we need to make sure that the title
it.
of the stream is not restream
There we go. Okay.
one. or
Cool.
whatever.
Wait, what does it say it is right now?
What?
I don't know. I'm not checking. You didn't ask me to be a producer. Fine. I'll go check.
Okay. While you do that, guys, it's time to get into it. Are you ready to go? So
Yeah,
Blake,
yeah.
you said you're around 45. Dingle, where are you at?
What I say? 35, 36. I think I'm in the middle of 35.
Okay,
I'm
so we're gonna
behind.
pass you up pretty quick
Yep,
here.
that's fine.
All right. So let's get started. Chapter 33. We'd just gotten to this summer court.
Yep.
So now,
The YouTube title is Shelf Importance Studio.
Refresh. It didn't. I did change it beforehand. Mother.
Yep.
Fuck. It
Now
still
we're
says
good?
that. All right. I'll just try to fix it while I do it. Go ahead.
okay. Chapter 33. We're flirting with Reese. Am I saying that right? Do you guys say Riss or Reese?
Reese.
Riz.
Reese.
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 The
I say
audiobook-
Reese.
The audiobook
It says Reese. Yeah.
it's I think universally agreed upon Reese.
Okay.
The audiobook reader puts a really weird pause between the two syllables of his name, and she's like Reese and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I guess it's Reese and.
Reese and.
Yeah.
So she's flirting with Reese and discussing that she needs to find the book. So he's like, really like, hey, you gotta find the book.
You gotta find this, even if you gotta fucking.
Because she had all that practice in the weaver's cottage, right? In the greasy chimney and the human hair roof. Oh, I love that imagery. And then in the evening, they have a dinner cruise with the summer court, High Fae. She's jealous. Boy, she's jealous. Reese is flirting with some other girl, and she just can't stop thinking about it.
I just kind of have an issue when the plot is driven by two people who just kind of like aren't talking to each other for no reason. You know,
Yeah.
just like, hey man,
So
I don't know what you want to do about this, but like you make me horny. Seems like it would be a real straightforward conversation that they could have, and then they could just like be together. You know what I mean? Instead of being like they're both so clueless and so like, you know, like Rhysand knew he was gonna like flirt with this woman, and that like I got the impression he very much knew what he was doing, and it was just like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like
Right.
you're obviously
Well, I think
in love. Like it's like Rhysand is in love with her, but he just doesn't want to presume that she could ever love him back because he's like the most powerful and handsome and has the biggest dongus.
I think
right?
that we got distracted by all the other MacGuffins. We didn't see the
MacGuffins.
MacGuffin like
Mhm.
slapping us right in the face.
The MacGuffin of your heart.
No, of
Oh.
Rhys. Rhys is the MacGuffin.
Rhysand's MacGuffin.
Rhysand's MacGuffin.
That is in his
Yeah.
pants. That's what he calls his
Yeah.
penis.
Because like this whole thing, if this were just about them getting together, like they would have kind of boned by now. But this whole book has just been foreplay, man. The
yeah.
whole
Oh yeah,
thing.
it's
all
not even.
chasing
It's just like
MacGuffins.
Yeah.
schoolyard flirting.
So Feyre Settle as ever, chapter 34. Well, during the dinner, she's like, "Hey, my dad was a merchant. Can I look at all your treasure? I might know what's interesting."
Yeah.
Okay. All
Sure,
real
lady.
smooth. And he does. He just lets her in all of his, like, it's been days walking around through all of his different treasure vaults. And she can't sense the book. She doesn't sense the Fae half of the book anywhere.
No book.
I think my favorite. I guess maybe this is like a chapter coming up, but my favorite part is that at one point she's like, "So anyway, I was thinking about going to the place where you keep that book just to check it out." And they're like, "Why is she asking?" Like all these high
Yeah.
fae just look at each other and they're like, "Oh,
Wait, what?
why is she asking? Why is she
somebody tell
asking
her?
about her secret, Tim? Did somebody tell her that that's where we're keeping our book? We're very suspicious of this." And then they just like,
Sure.
"These are not the droids you're looking
Yeah.
for."
Yeah.
And they just go on their merry way.
Mhm.
It's amazing.
I don't,
There's-
under-
oh,
I
go
don't
ahead.
understand why Rhys doesn't just crack somebody's mind open for this information with the serious and as all
Because-
this is.
Because they know him and they know what he's capable of. Or they
They're going
That seems to be it seems to be the excuse for him not doing anything is like, "Oh, everybody knows me and they don't know you."
She can do it too. Why didn't she do it? Nobody expects her.
It's all of their like social maneuverings in this whole section were very contrived, where it's just like, and Feyre's gonna come and we're gonna pretend that we're having sex, and that's gonna really off-put some people. And we're playing 4D social chess over here, and like, you know, there's whether or not Feyre comes, it doesn't like really seem to matter, and she keeps getting herself in these situations where it's like, "Feyre, you're the only one that can do this," and they're all just really bad plans, and they're not nearly as sneaky as they think that they are. But
Right.
I like the cloak and dagger intrigue aspect of it. It's fun.
So chapter 35. So she thinks she's like just happenstance figures out where the book is. She doesn't know it's there. She doesn't feel its presence from a distance. She's just like looking out on the balcony, and then the tide is down, and she sees like a little island out there that is normally covered up by the ocean, and she's like, "Oh, it's probably there."
like-
Lucky guess, it is.
It's the Zelda water temple.
They have to plot to get it. I'm glad they don't spend a whole lot of time of them like watching the guards. They're just like, we watched the guards. We figured out how they work. We went in. Because they could have spent a lot of time like montaging. We watched the guards for 2 days and then for 3 more days.
Ooh,
they
a
didn't.
stakeout chapter.
That could have
Oh,
been a good potential for some
9:35
flirting.
a.m.
you said
Ooh,
you said
that's a-
montage.
that's
Maybe
a
they
really
could
good
like an
one.
80s pop rock montage where like working out and trying to,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
But
So
just like
there was a house there, like a not a house, but like a building, like
a
wasn't
temple.
there?
They said it was like a destroyed temple.
Okay,
Old temple.
because I
Yeah.
kind of had that.
I got the impression that it was like just a ratty old, like, because I don't know if you've ever just like looked at the piles under a bridge or,
All
like,
the time.
sometimes they just build shit out. It's like everything is grimy and disgusting. And, like if it's in a river, it's going to be super nasty. And so I'm imagining this just like super nasty old building with like tons of cobwebs and shit. And they're just casually keeping their most valuable artifact, a literal shard of God himself,
Right.
or whatever it is that they're like.
Right.
That they're
I'm glad that this book plays by the
Just-
same rules as Superman. Lead protects you from it.
Nice.
seems to block magic, I
Yeah.
guess,
Um,
or whatever.
so chapter 36, since we're kind of talking about it, Mary Sue Feyre waltzes in all the way to the book. She even shape shifts into the Summer High Lord so that she can fool the biometric screening system. The book realizes it's not the Summer High Lord,
Yeah.
and he locks Feyre and Amren in the storage room.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
She does basically the challenge from like Zelda when you're trying to pull the sword out of the stone, where you just have to have enough hearts to like survive it. So she basically just like, oh, I'm gonna put my hands on this door and it's gonna really take all of my power, and I'm through. And they're like, oh, it's really bad. It like hurts a lot or whatever.
Boy, the magic coming off the book
Basically,
is
it was
super overwhelming.
That's funny. Now I'm just seeing her going.
Yeah, basically it's just a whole chapter where she opens the doors.
Tink, tink, half a heart at a time.
She collected enough High Lord powers to get through.
She really did.
Actually, probably be a pretty fun video game. To be honest,
Little Akhtar vid.
Yeah. If open world, all the high courts, would be pretty tight.
Yeah, that'd be neat. A big open world.
Mini games. You know what I'm saying? What kind of mini games I'm talking about?
Mini games is what Rhysand calls them.
It's coffee on my keyboard now. Thanks a lot. Read the room. Know when the guy's drinking his coffee. All right.
For being like such an important artifact, do you think this was too easy for them to get? We haven't gotten about them getting out yet.
Seems like it.
Right?
Was it that easy? I mean, I know I'm glad that it spent a lot of time there in the book, but it took them many, many days.
In the temple? No, they weren't in the temple.
No, overall to like
Oh,
plan it, figure it out,
yeah.
learn how to get there.
Yeah.
She had to like magic. I mean, the Mary Sue aspect really helped. Where it's like,
Yeah.
I've got a power that I can use.
Yeah. She's like, I am the key to the door.
And it's unusually strong because I flirted with a boy yesterday.
Exactly. And Amren had power that helped out. Everybody's got powers that help out, right? And even then, when they had no powers to help out, that's when they get magically saved by the incredibly strong, incredibly malnourished fish fed, I guess.
That was a pretty hard day of Sex Machina.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, all hope is lost.
Dude.
And because get it, it's the water temple,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and there's fish people.
So the fish people come
and
back.
She's like,
Yeah.
do they
they
really?
pop in.
our sister's debt is
My sister's debt
paid.
is paid. Yeah, but they're just like, I mean, how? Back to what your question there, Yukon.
Mhm.
I guess, yeah. I mean, so like, how well hidden and secured can this book be if the like outcast, disgusting, malnourished fish people could just bust open the door with raw physical power.
Did they bust the door down?
That's what happened, right?
I
'Cause
think
the-
I think they had
feels
busted
like-
the
it
door
feels like
down
what the-
and they were drowning. Like they just couldn't get out in time. Like they were that far. They were that close to drowning. Like Amren destroyed the door, then they start drowning, and then the fish people. That's the way I read
I
it.
thought they ripped the top door. There's 2 doors, right?
I think there's 2 doors.
I thought the
Mhm,
top
yes.
door they ripped open.
Oh. If the fish people
that not
rip
what
the door open, then that's kind of stupid.
It does seem that I don't think it's clear. It's just like they get stuck at the top door and then suddenly it opens and there's fish people outside. I like to imagine in my head canon that the fish people and just like splashed up out of the water, karate chopped the guards, and then there was just like a lever on the wall that they could pull. It's like
They had to like
Portcullis.
tear a key fob off one of the guards, and they're like,
Yeah.
boop, and the door opens up.
they all just hand up to the magical scanner.
So let's finish this little adventure. Chapter 37. Feyre and Amren obtain the book. They escape with it. And then, like you guys said, the fish
And
people come in, swim them out. They said, and this is what's cool. Like that one little fish person lived in a little pond outside of the spring court. But after Feyre helps them out, they just tell everybody. They tell all the fish people, hey, there's this fairy girl in the spring court who gave us some jewels so this one little tribe or one person could eat. So
if you ever
you
see
see her,
her,
pay her back. Like we don't like having debts hold
Yeah.
over our head.
if you're ever at home in the summer court, where I'm sure you're already a second-class citizen,
Mhm.
and you see this woman, do
Yeah.
commit a major crime for her. Do kill a bunch of guards and break her out of prison and aid and abet someone who's stealing the most valuable artifact in your kingdom. Things are going to go fine for you, and your sister's debt will be
Debt
paid,
must be
if you
paid.
ever get the opportunity.
Yeah, and then they're on the shore, and Reese shows up, and he's like, "Oh, why are you all wet? I haven't even been around yet in your nether regions."
Hey,
It's just probably something he would say.
It is
It's
something he would say. That's the kind
a
of story
lot
he
of
does.
wetness in this section
yeah.
overall in a variety of
Do
ways.
you think the
And
power
just- I
that
wanna-
Feyre has over liquid only applies to like water?
Oh my god.
Or you see where I'm going with
Mm.
this, right?
Yeah.
She can squirt fish.
God.
She's a squirt bender.
Make little fucking flying ducks come out of the pecker.
Oh my God.
That was the best squirt bender.
Yeah, squirt bender and jizz bender.
Yeah, it's gotta go in.
That needs to be on one of our t-shirts.
Sarah,
Yeah, I
if
was
you don't
gonna
work
say,
that into a
I think-
future book chapter somewhere, you made
Yeah.
a mistake.
You can have that for free,
I'm
Sarah
gonna
J.
be
My ass.
disappointed. I think she's past writing about Feyre, but who knows? Feyre is the avatar.
Mhm.
I was gonna just real quick sketch out because I think we almost need like a whiteboard mulligan tracker. Because the situation right now, as it stands, you've got the cauldron,
Yeah.
which is God. You got the cauldron
Somebody
has
made the cauldron.
3 legs, which apparently screw off easily
No, they were broken.
because it is unbreakable,
But they were broken off.
But-
Cleaved.
but they were they were cleaved with a screwdriver. Okay, so the 3 legs are distributed
Scattered to the
around
wind. They're in
kingdoms.
some of
They're
the
in, like,
temples of the high priestesses or something.
they're in temples. Okay, but one of them was recently like probably stolen, but it's a shard of God, and they were just like, I mean, we don't really have an inventory of what kind of artifacts are here. So it felt like they kind of were like, wait a second, that's what they must have stolen, right? So one of them has apparently been stolen by a hybrid, and we don't know about the other two. Then there's also a book, which the book is
And the sequel.
Right.
Also,
the book
God.
was made
Is
from
it
the
the-
same material as the cauldron, the leftover, the scraps.
It seems like the book is like a remote control for the cauldron. But the book has been split into two pieces.
Mhm.
And one of them is with the Summer Court for some reason, and one of them is with the humans, with the additional caveat that the one from the humans is not allowed to be stolen. It has to be given freely.
Mhm.
Summer Court one, fair
Steal it.
game.
Steal
Stolen,
anyway.
steal it. That's what we're gonna do. And that's what they did. That's what they were doing at the Water Temple, is stealing
Yeah.
half of the book.
Right.
Now, later on in the book, we get another MacGuffin.
That's
Like
an
I feel
orb.
like
It's an orb.
they keep
Yeah, they
splitting.
were.
They're like, oh, well, now we got to go on another mission to the Court of Nightmares to like do this weird thing, and somebody's gonna go steal a thing that I already own.
Yeah, this one made no sense.
Yeah.
Everything in the Night Court belongs to Rhysand.
Yeah.
And they go on a whole. He breaks somebody's arms so that they can
It's
steal an orb.
his uncle's arms, right? Because it's Moore's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Like he shows up, takes the throne over to sit there, and makes his uncle like
Pulls
Watch
a bad
Watch
bitch
him
onto his
grind
lap.
up on his new bad bitch.
yeah. And I thought the same thing in the entire chapter
That's
as you,
cringy
Blake.
as
Where I'm like,
fuck.
why doesn't he just have somebody go fucking take it? Why doesn't he have his uncle go get it for him? I'm taking that. I need that
Yeah.
orb.
Or I'll break your
Go
fucking
give me the
arms.
orb, yeah, or I'll melt the brains of everyone in here.
Yeah.
Why is it another heist?
So it's just heist after heist after
Heist within
It's
heist.
You
schemes.
son of a
It's not
bitch! I'm in. It's heist within heist.
It's a Rick and
Yeah, it's a
Morty
Rick-
episode.
It is
It's
a
all the
Rick
way
and
down.
Morty. So we do find out that it's Amren's old relatives that wrote the book because it's the language of her people from another dimension. She's
Oh,
probably
It's
just
not like
a
her dad,
human
though.
who got ripped out of our world and was put into the fairy world.
Do we want to talk? What's your hot take on what Amren is at this moment?
I'd say
Like,
probably
what's the
some kinda
closest
elder,
mythological analog?
kind of elder god.
Oh yeah, I was gonna
Oh.
go with demigod.
Like
Okay. I was going to say Titan, but I
Yeah,
guess
that's what
in some senses
see
that is
that.
an elder
That
god.
could work.
I was
Because
gonna
she-
say
what, she's
Titans
in-
also.
She's in between the cauldron maker and the fairies. In that span in between,
Yeah.
she's
Right.
but they're making it sound like she's from another dimension, from another reality.
I also have a sort of like side head canon going where she's, you know how when we did the RimWorld book
Mhm.
that we were all like pretty sure that the one character was like from our world. That's what I feel like is happening with Amren in my
Yeah.
little. I don't think that's actually what's going on, but I've got that reserved for if it comes out.
So
That she's just like knows what a car is. You know?
RimWorld is what we're going with.
Discworld.
RimWorld. This girl, it's called
RimWorld is
Hublanders.
RimWorld is something you read with Becky.
Hub,
Hublanders.
Hublanders 2. Hublanders would be an amazing video
that
game.
would be good.
All right. Chapter 38. The Summer Court puts a hit out on the Book Stealers 3. So there's like these-
They straight up do a fatwa.
they,
They
instead
sent
of
him
a
blood
horse's
diamonds.
head,
They sent him blood diamonds. Editor,
Blood
you can't
diamonds.
say that.
blood rubies.
Blood
They're
rubies.
Reese and Feyre flirt
This is
some more.
Prithian TIP.
Feyre rescues Reese from a nightmare. So he has nightmares too.
And he's naked.
naked, and she tries to look,
Just for good.
but she's distracted by a tattoo.
He's got thigh tattoos. He's such a bro.
Yeah, and they stand for no one's gonna conquer him
They're-
again or something.
Their knee tattoos. He's like, I bow to no one. I got mountains tattooed on my knees.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he's going to be on his knees at some point. I honestly, I feel like that's where this whole book is leading.
Them
to.
having sex.
It's going to be like well, I mean, yeah, but also
That's going to be the.
I feel like there's going to
climax.
specifically like be a really not subtle line to draw where it's like I put these on my knees because I kneel for no person, but for you, Feyre, I kneel. And then he just fucking eats
Gives her
that
tongue
thing out.
lashing.
Yeah.
So that was interesting that because he sleeps naked. You know, he's a man after my own heart. I wish I'd sleep naked more.
Yeah, I just don't. Do you guys sleep
I
naked?
have.
Sometimes.
I have. Not often, because I have kids that come down and want to give me a hug in the morning before they go to before they go to school.
If it weren't for the kid, you seem like a freak that would just like
Me?
let it hang out.
Me? Yeah, I probably would.
Like if the kids aren't around, like when the kids go off to, you know,
definitely.
the Hitler Youth Corps or whatever they're doing, you're just gonna
Probably so. Yeah.
free
Yeah,
ball.
I think so. I probably
Nice.
not every day, but Michelle won't. That's a
I'm
big
not-
problem.
I'm not even like modest about it. I just am like, I don't know. I don't like shit rubbing on my shit. You know, I like to keep my shit contained.
Oh man, it's so better to
'Cause
not.
if I roll over or whatever, you don't want to like
Yeah, sleep,
get stroked by the blanket.
You didn't know wedgies?
Just don't-
sleeping naked rules. I mostly use it as a tactic. So
Yeah.
What?
so I don't. So I specifically don't do it all the time. So when I do, it sends a message.
yeah, to your neighbors.
All right.
It's just no, look. I get it. You get that. It's that fun moment where you peel back the sheets and you're like, oh, it's fun. Ken and I shared a lot of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gen Con.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
Chapter 39. Feyre talks to Amren about the book. More waiting around. Word comes from the Mortal Queens. They'll meet with Rhys. So they winnow back. Well, not all the way to Feyre's family house, but just like before, they winnow just by that crack in the wall out over the ocean, and they fly to the house. So weird. I guess the wall keeps him from winnowing through the wall, but there's a hole in the wall, so he should be able to winnow through the hole, right?
We've really gone into the mechanics of winnowing, and it doesn't. Make
I've got
sense.
more.
I'm with Ken that it's
questions and kind of issues about winnowing now.
Okay.
it specifically is supposed to be a tunneling thing, and it's specifically not like point to point. So I don't know why the wall would interrupt it at
Right.
all, but
The magic.
Yeah.
it's the magic of the
I
wall,
don't
baby.
exactly remember what happened at the point where we stopped. I think I might be mushy on one chapter, so I don't know if what I'm thinking about winnowing has been read or not. So I'll let you keep going.
Okay. Chapter 40, we meet
all-
with the queens. They want proof that Rhys wants peace. That'd be a great campaign slogan if Rhys was running for
That's why they don't get
high
the award.
office. Rhys
Rhys
for
wants-
peace.
They-
Rhys
And then you
for
spell
peace.
it PYS.
Yes.
It's
There you
Reese's
go.
Pieces.
Pieces.
Pieces. That needs to be. They need to come up with a sex move in this book called Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
That's what he calls his penis.
Can you make a can you graphic design us a candy bar that's called Reese's Penis? New impressively.
Favorite darling, it's something I've been meaning.
Impressively.
Might I introduce you to Reese's Pieces?
Go ahead and mark the clip blank. You know this one's coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works, brother.
Woo.
So yeah, that was kind of like it was an
We-
okay chapter. I do in our text chat, I did point out Feyre talks about each of the 6 queens. She says the oldest one, describes her. The 2 middle-aged ones, describes them. The 2 youngest ones, describes them. Then she says, and then the prettiest ones, which means that they're all different. She lists off 6. There are 6 high queens, or 6 mortal queens. Then 2 pages later, where's the 6th queen?
Well, she's probably seen her. She's immortal.
No. Then she's talking about them like as they're like walking into the room or as they're appearing or whatever.
Oh, did she? She wasn't just describing how they are.
Well, how would she know?
She was immortal. Would she maybe have potentially seen them before?
They read about it in
Maybe.
People magazine.
I get that's the only possibility then, right? Or it's either what you said or a massive oversight in
It's
her
probably-
telling the story.
Probably an oversight, but I mean, devil's advocates. I guess it's possible that she's seen the mortal queens before.
I was
They were
aware that
rich.
you had some
She was a
issue
kid.
with that section, and so when I was reading it, I like looked at it, and then I pretty quickly didn't feel like it was a big enough contradiction to be worth
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah,
But,
editing problem,
I was like,
skill
So-
issue.
yeah.
So they have
Still
magic.
sure.
What do we think about that? That was kind of a surprise.
Stupid.
They can use magic.
The queens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of silly
Yeah.
because they're human, right?
I think
Yeah.
that in order to do that, they should at least have to have like a Fey
Look with them.
Trapped.
person in their retinue.
Maybe one of
I mean,
one of
I want
their
them-
guards.
I want them
was
to be
one.
in chains. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest,
You
I don't know
you
why.
want to be what?
There's not a reason for me to have an affinity for the slave aesthetic, but for some reason I'm like, it makes sense to
Maybe
me
you
that
know,
they would have like
you
a
like-
And actually,
Fey
that's
slave.
probably what that should be what's going on because
Probably
like,
is.
it's a gift from one
They-
of your kind.
They
because
said
you
it was a gift from.
have it trapped, and they're just like draining it of blood and like having a drinking its blood ritual like once a month or something.
It does
Yeah.
show that you can winnow in the mortal lands.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Well, Feyre already
the wall
already
must
winnowed.
just be the
Feyre winnowed in there during their little squabble the first time.
right. So do you buy this whole bargain? Like,
No, it's so contrived, man. The whole thing basically. I understand Sarah J. Maas has a story that she's trying to tell. So like, this is not the most egregious like go on a side quest, do a thing, right? Because like I get it. She wants the tension there of like, ooh, it's Valaris. It's been kept as a secret, kept for centuries, and now like at this critical moment in history, we must decide whether or not to share it with these people that we may not trust or whatever. Like, fine. That's
they don't
the story you want to tell. That's great.
they don't want to know.
but
about
basically
Valaris.
No, basically the queens are just like, we will give you the book, but first you must tell us your deepest secret, right? And then they're just like, oh my God, what could we possibly tell them that would convince them that I'm not a meanie guy?
So it did go.
And what he decides to tell them is that Valaris exists, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that with the lasso of truth.
So I'm gonna.
Okay.
It did go a little bit differently than that, where
Sure.
the negotiation was going nowhere. Morrigan steps in and was like, "You remember me? I'm Morrigan from the war. Morrigan from Oregon."
Ginny from the block.
And she goes on this huge spiel about something that happened we'd never heard of before. And apparently she reveals that there is a secret island somewhere that houses a very peaceful utopia where Fae live by humans. And they get along and everything is fine.
Yeah.
You not remembering this, Blake?
No, I do. I was very confused about it because again, it was weird and
Right,
it's stupid.
So she
Um,
says, "Hey,
But I got the impression that it was like there was just like one couple that went off and like lived on
they
their
took their
own,
people with
and they're
them."
just basically in like witness
Yeah, they've got
protection.
people with them living in harmony.
But they also have shielded their, like, they live in a bubble, and they're like
Mhm,
not. No one knows about them. We didn't know about them. Nothing indicated up until now. But this couple that is united the humans and the fairies. They do have a tie to this guy that the King of Hybern's trying to bring back to life. Like the lady of this couple, she was going to be forced to marry this Jurian, but then she didn't, and everyone thought she was dead, but she actually ran away and started this island commune, commie socialist secret society, right?
They started an island cult.
They did. But it's been secret up until right now. And Morrigan's like, we can live in peace. We can point to these people. They live on a secret island. Trust me. They went to a different school. You don't know them.
Yeah, until they show like they visit this island, it is the island from Lost to me.
Right. Yes. Like that.
But not like the crash land part of the island, the part that was developed intentionally with the schools and stuff. That part of the island.
Okay. Yeah. The Dharmas.
Yeah. Dharmas.
So then that leads Feyre to think, oh, he's not going to show him Valaris, is he? He can't do that. So then that leads to it, like later on, there's a discussion about like, hey, we're not actually gonna go bother those people living in the Utopia. We're probably gonna need their help before the end of all this is over. But let's just give them a FaceTime with Valaris. A FaceTime that can't lie.
You know the orb.
Yeah, it's the last of the
The
tree.
orb can't lie. Yeah, it's the orb of truth.
You know what it's time for, boys? Another heist. Another
Oh, son of a
MacGuffin.
bitch, I'm in.
We're MacGuffining
Yep.
the MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of summarized. We've gone through 41 then. 42, bumping and grinding distraction as heists another MacGuffin. So we go to the Court of Nightmares. So we have the Court of Night, right? We have the Court of Nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Night
Reese
Court.
is in charge of both, but I guess he has like a
So
I think the Court of Dreams is a secret,
Court of
isn't it?
Dreams. Is yeah.
I have a
It's
question
like
about
no one was there.
But it's all the night.
It's all the Night Court.
It's all the Night Court. Yeah.
I think.
so the
Right.
the Court of
Rhysand is Lord of the Night Court,
the
which includes as a province the Court of Nightmares.
Yes, which
and maybe the Court of Dreams.
Amarantha, she
prison.
modeled under the mountain off of the Court of Nightmares.
Yeah.
She's like, I love your design.
Yes,
I'm gonna copy it.
and apparently did a shitty job, which is weird to me,
Yeah.
but that's neither here nor there. But the deal with the Court of Nightmares is that they're just like, I don't really understand the motivation of the Court of Nightmares people. It seems like maybe what they did is they had like a national divorce, right? Where they were like, okay, everybody who like wants to live in an inclusive democratic society that like where we respect other people and share in our economic prosperity with our fellow Fae, you guys go to Valaris. And everybody who is a fucking asshole, you guys get the Court of Nightmares, I guess, and we'll just see where it goes. I don't understand what incentive people have to remain in the Court of Nightmares because it seems like a fucking pretty lousy place and everybody's mad all the time.
If you watch the Matrix sequel orgy scene, that huge cave where we're all sweating and bumping and grinding, and you're like, that's the place for me, you belong in the Court of Nightmares.
Heck yeah, man.
Because that's the same fucking place.
I talked to that a lot when I was a teenager.
I bet Pharos bumped into Neo on her way to the throne.
Yeah, and the guy with the dreadlocks who keeps going in that scene is in slow motion, flipping his sweaty head around.
Yes. That was all I was thinking of
Yeah.
when this chapter was.
Ken jerked off to that scene a lot too.
You have to.
That was right. That was, and then it straight cuts from that to Neo and Trinity
Yeah.
laying in bed.
See,
Doing the horizontal shuffle.
If someone, I understand the whole Hulu canceled this, because if I would read the first book, I'd be like, yeah, I might be able to do something with this, and then you get to this book and you're like, dude, I can't put this on TV. This is the fucking cringiest shit ever.
Yeah, that's why what should happen is they
Mhm.
should take the first book with the story set up in the world building, and then ignore all the story that comes after it and write a new made-for-TV story.
You good? There was a book
When that-
series
what-
called
what'll
The
happen-
Magicians.
What'll happen in this is, it'll be the ACOTAR world building, right? But what'll happen is Feyre will kill the fairy,
Mhm.
and when Tamlin shows up, he just rips her to ribbons, and the story starts anew.
Right.
Feyre's gone.
Yeah.
There's actually
Ribbons.
a TV.
And season 2 is just Nesta all the way
There you
through.
go.
Nestatar.
Real quick, there's a book series called The Magicians, and I think it did really well. It got a TV show. I think
It's
they
on
did
CW,
the whole,
wasn't
That's
it?
CW, right? Oh, yeah, look
I
at that.
don't know if it was CW or if
Or
it was
CBS.
some cable like sci-fi or
Because I remember Michelle
One of
watched it
those.
for a little bit.
yeah, it's good, but they deviated from the plot completely by killing the main character in the TV show. It did not happen in the books.
That's a big oopsie.
Yeah. So
I like it when some art form just sees fit to remind us that nothing is sacred and anyone can be killed at any time. I always appreciate the sort of memento mori of that.
Nope, no thanks.
I like it.
So yeah, like while Azrael slips off to steal the orb, which apparently he has no trouble doing, Feyre's just on Reese's lap, like
She she literally got tired of doing the heists.
yeah.
And she was like, this one's gonna happen off screen, and I just
She didn't
wanna-
have to be here.
I just want to show people.
Like,
Rubbing
can I just be your
boners.
throne puppet for one of these heists, please?
Yeah. This is why Reese couldn't go just like take it, because he got off a little bit on this. He's like, guys, this is an opportunity for me to grind. Like, just let me say I can't go get it.
Yeah, so for our viewers, we've got like what they're doing in the scene is they come up with this super contrived plan where they're like, okay, we got to go down to the Court of Nightmares, but everybody down there is a big asshole. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a distraction, basically. And I don't know who came up with it, but it seems like maybe what happened is that Rhysand was like, so I was thinking, and you know, it's all your choice, Feyre. It's whatever you want to do. But I was thinking you could put on like a real sexy outfit and no underwear, and we'll just go down there, and you can like sit on my lap, and I'll just like kind of do some heavy petting on you, and that'll be really weird for everyone. And while we're doing that, Azrael's gonna go do the theft thing, right?
I read about this mortal
I
concept called soaking. You've heard of it? Can we try this?
Can we do it in front of my uncle, please? And like, it's so strange. But I think to be courteous to what Sarah J. Maas is trying to capture with this scene is that it seems like Azrael is trying to do like a completely like unnoticed heist. He wants to like get in, get out, and like, but they're stealing something that they're not necessarily worried is going to be like found out right away, you know? And so they basically are like, we just have to like cause enough of a scene to keep my uncle out of his bed chamber for a while, for long enough for, you know, Azrael to go like loot through his footlocker or
Yeah.
whatever. So I think that's what she's trying to capture. But like, if you just zoom out and look at it like a normal human, you're like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this plan? It's literally just an excuse to get the two characters like rubbing on each
Yeah.
other. And boy,
do they. He even, I mean, hands go under clothes. And viscosity is is measured. Yeah, we'll just say it that way.
There's
There's
like
leaks- there's
he's sitting
leaks in the
there, and he's
walls.
just like,
Yeah, and don't worry, that's just
He's
the
just,
body's
like,
reaction.
stroking her
He tells
leg
you
up and
that.
down.
Yeah.
he's just stroking her leg up and down, and then he just like goes under her dress, and he just there's no point to it at all. He just is like getting closer and closer to her kitty, and then eventually he just gets there.
Yeah.
And then he has to change gloves, and like
He's in her mind like, can you squirt bin this away, please?
yeah, she's like, and he feels her getting nervous and be like, oh my god, I just my juice is gone. and he takes that opportunity to reach out, caress her mind with his mind, and be like, it's fine, baby, don't be embarrassed. It's just the body's natural response.
It's just your body's natural reaction.
being
It's
rubbed
certainly
on it.
nothing either of us want. We feel disgusting
Yeah,
here.
for
We're
sure.
so gross.
Oh man. Oh man.
So then they somehow like don't have a fight about that, but also end up in a fight. It seems like I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
they
have their
Somebody
first-
got
their
a
first
fight over
fight.
somebody. at this
We
point.
do have our first
Aw.
fight. So after this happens, we're supposed to go. Like they get the orb. They're supposed to winnow back to his townhouse, and everyone else does. I mean, Reese has been winnowing other people, so the other Bat Boys can't winnow, right? So I think they're flying back, and Reese was going to winnow her back. And he winnows her to like a mountainside, and then they have this conversation, and she says something about him. She starts comparing him to Tamlin, which really pisses him off. And then I think that was part.
Him, nothing like him.
Boom.
Yeah. So then he just disappears for days, weeks.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not terribly long. We find out in a few chapters she's only been with the Night Court for like 2 months. So
this part is Sarah. This argument is Sarah going, and then she's gonna tell him something totally true, and then he's just gonna do what men do, and he's not even gonna talk to her. He's gonna cold shield her for like days,
and he did.
and then he did. That's why he's such a stereotypical man.
Yeah.
He just gets quiet, puts his head
It's
down.
She's like writing
It's
notes on
also-
the paper that he like telepaths around, and he's not responding.
I'm giving you the cold shoulder.
Right. That's the problem I have with this section. Is that she's finding paper anywhere she can and writing a note on
He's
it.
just
and then
leaving
like,
her on red.
Yeah, that's what.
and he just looks
Yeah.
at it, and then she gets mad after 30 seconds and throws it in the fire. But guys, I feel like I should remind the author that these are soul-bound Damati
Yeah.
that can read each other's minds and communicate
Yeah, but
wherever they
just
are,
like last time, we were
as much as they
and
want.
Yukon is totally right. Just like last time, where we were saying, "Oh, this piece of paper is literally representing them texting each other, so that
Yeah.
people can feel like they're in this." And this, you're totally right. They're texting again, and he's leaving her on red, and all the women are reading it and knowing that's what's happening.
Yeah.
That fragile male ego.
Fucking
Now he can't
Craig.
turn around. Yeah,
God, what a piece of shit.
fuck you, Craig. Craig Sand. Oh man.
So then I thought that it lasted longer, but apparently the next chapter we make up. There's the Starfall night in Valaris. These spirits migrate. It's very much Andor,
What the fuck?
right? Remember Andor? There's I don't know if you guys watched
Yeah,
that.
oh,
This is
yeah.
Andor.
Yeah, the festival. They my concern is that at this point in the story that Sarah was like, nah, I just feel like I need to hit one more beat to kind of like tie it back to the old story. So this is like Starfall, and it's on the same day as that other super sexy magic event that we did where everybody, I think, just did a bunch of ecstasy and fucked each other, right?
Yeah.
I've got a theory. These aren't spirits; they're actually all the jizz of the people from
Oh my
Kalimar, from the spring court. They do their magical fuck festival, and then they have the magic. Every time one of them reaches climax, the magic turns into magic and shoots across the sky, and then they actually are getting like.
They're like, and we don't know why it happens on this day.
Exactly, no clue.
Every year. And they all just accidentally fucked on one day and got sky spoo. It is, I mean, it probably feels to our listeners like we sort of a one note podcast. And like every time we come across any situation, we're like, hey, how can we tie it to dicks and cum and stuff? Right. Which is
pretty accurate.
Very much our brand. Yeah. But also in this case, it's like, dude, it is like magical. It cream pies them in the face, both of them.
It
and
really
just
does.
like they're just standing there on the roof and they're like, wow, they're so close. I can almost touch that. And they're just like these glowing lights that are going over. I imagine like sparkly fireworks kind of things, but may have just not been listening. And they're just standing there, wow, it's so close, I can almost touch it. And then blam, she just gets blasted full frontal, like in the face, man. And then they're like laughing, and I gotta keep wanting to call Rhysand Tamlin, and Rhysand is like laughing at her, and she's all mad, and then she gets pissed off and tries to throw him off a fucking building. And then he also gets cream pied in the face, and they all have a good laugh about it. He's like, at one point, he's like, no, don't wipe it off. It looks like your freckles are glowing. It's like, which is what I would have said after somebody broke a glow stick at a junior
let's
high
imagine.
dance,
Let's imagine these are spirits, okay? If they're actually, what the fuck happened to these spirits now? It's like, oh, they're just making their migration, and they do it every year. It's like part of like you're a spirit, and it's like. Oh fuck! I'm almost. Oh god, no! And then it's in their mouth.
Hey man, some days you're the windshield, some days you're the cum spirit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess
that was
Magna cum spiritus.
It did fall on the same day as the other holiday, right? They're like,
yeah,
we don't celebrate the one here where the High Lord just like dehumanizes everybody, right?
No, theirs was like,
well,
like Tamlin had to fuck as many people as possible.
He had to find
magic in the land. Is that right?
He had to find one.
What up, Praetor?
He had to find one person, and it was like kind of predetermined. Like everybody else was also.
Yeah, it was like he had to,
but
he had to choose a mate to really nut it and to make the magic happen.
Yeah. And because he came back and told her, he's like, I wished it was you. Like, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the impression that it was like, what I was supposed to believe was that Kalimai, or whatever it's called, is sort of like a bastardized version of Starfall, which is like the real shit. Like, it's all Starfall. It's just that they celebrate it as Kalimai because they don't have the spirit cum shots that we do.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're not filled with the Holy Spirit.
They're not filled.
They're covered with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something I wanted to ask.
Spirit.
Okay, so I thought this was a weird suggestion by Feyre in this chapter. She's like, Rhys is open with her, and he's like, hey, so, when we were under the mountain, Amarantha knew how important Starfall was for me. So she would trigger warning, she would sexually assault him all night on Starfall Night every year for 50 years. And he's like,
it seems like
I guess
really-
it took the joy out of it for him, which it should, right? But then Feyre's like, why don't you go tell everybody? Why don't you go tell them what you've been through? And I'm, no, how about not? That's fine to not go tell everyone you've been assaulted for 50 years.
Yeah.
He's right. It's like he's gonna put a damper on the party.
Uh-huh.
I just feel like she's kind of like a little insensitive and not real cool with this.
I
Yeah,
just
she's-
feel
She's not real cool in general.
I would say so. Amarantha is Fairy Hitler. She's Fadolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just feel like, from the villain's perspective here, like, what's the fucking point of being like? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't make too light of it, because obviously, like, her whole thing is that she's like a sociopath who's hell bent on torturing everyone around her to death. But I'm also like, I just feel like you, as the torturer, could probably find a better way to spend 8 hours than just being like, you know what? I'm gonna lay here, and you're gonna make me come so hard, or I'll kill you for 8 hours, and then you can go. I like it. It's a very weird arrangement that they have, and I guess I shouldn't be like, I don't know. This is more analysis than it deserves, because
Well, I will say
I'm on Rhysand's side.
more on that later. Blake, you can actually look forward to a little explanation there.
Ew, yucky.
More insights coming.
Yeah.
Great.
So after that's over, we're just abruptly at an Illyrian training camp.
There we are. Boom.
To wait to hear from the Mortal Queens, like they talked about. The Feyre trains with Rhys out in the woods nearby, and like for doing a little bit of magic, making a little water hummingbird and whatever. For each time she uses magic, he'll tell her a little story about Tamlin. So she does. She finds out that Tamlin's family came and killed his family, and then his family went and killed Tamlin's family. And then as this happened, then they became High Lords together. They were like right there with each other face to face. And then that's when the spirit came on them and they became High Lords.
Yeah.
At the same time. It was pretty cool. Touching little moment. They used to be besties. They used to be really good friends. And then they kill each other's families. Now she wants to paint again.
I don't remember them saying anything about why Tamlin's family killed Rhysand's family.
Well, so I thought they it wasn't very good, because it's like a sentence maybe where like they were close and they were stronger than Tamlin's dad. So like Tamlin and Rhys were stronger than Tamlin's dad. So Tamlin was threatened and he wanted to show he wasn't. He got Tamlin to tell him stuff. He thought Rhys was going to be in a place. So he went to go kill Rhys, and it was Rhys's family. So he killed Rhys's family, sent their heads down the river as a message, and then Rhys...
So that was it? It was
Who did?
Rhys
Tamlin?
It was Rhys it was Rhys might be stronger than me, so let's go kill him, even though we're kind of buds.
And Rhys was teaching Tamlin some Illyrian fighting
methods.
techniques.
Yeah.
Because you know that Illyrian karate chop is a lot different than the spring court karate chop.
Mhm.
Yeah, you put your wing into it, you know.
Yeah. So
It's a very sensitive move.
Yeah.
We did
then-
skip
and
over
then
the
they were-
part
Well,
about
yeah,
being in
yeah.
the Rodness zone.
But yes, Blake, they did chop their heads off and send them down the basket like little Moses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The
Ah,
basket
for
down
that.
the river.
Dig it.
Like you do. But yeah, then that just tells her she's ready to paint again. We've been slowly getting these, like, it's supposed to be like character development, I guess. or character progression of this sprinkled in, like, oh, I saw this and I could see myself painting it.
Look,
Oh,
it
I
makes,
saw this and I could see
yeah.
myself paint it. Now I want to paint again.
it makes sense. It's all been really cringy the way it's presented, but it does make sense that they were both like victims.
Yeah,
And then they're
absolutely.
slowly coming out of it together. It just
Yeah.
doesn't feel like I care about that because of how cringy they are together.
Yeah.
I wish I could care more about it, but I just don't.
Mhm.
Chapter 46, more life in the war camp. But then, this, Blake, we're passing you up here, buddy. You want
It's
the spoiler?
Lay it on me.
Feyre's walking out in the woods. She walks ahead of Reese. I don't know why, but she's out ahead of him.
And the Atar shows up.
Out of nowhere,
Oh, look at that ass.
she's approached by the Spring Court Sentinels, 4 of them, and Lucian.
And Lucian.
Oh,
Wow.
I was wondering when he was going to come back.
Feyre,
Yeah.
come home! He's basically like that.
This would be a good musical scene where
He's
like,
very-
they have this
he's
like
very
sing-off
emo.
battle.
He's emo
Where-
about it.
Where are they at now at this part?
Out in
They're
the woods.
they're out in the woods in
Of-
the night.
Outside of an
court.
Illyrian war camp.
Yeah,
But not
Is
in the
this-
Spring Court, though, right?
not in the Spring
No,
Court.
no,
No,
no.
they've come into
So
nice
they
land.
they
Spring Court
invaded
fuckers
the.
are invading. Yeah.
Big mistake.
Oh, that's what I thought. Like you weren't supposed to do that, right?
No.
Bad news bears.
Not
No,
by
it's
the book,
bad
I
to
would
do that.
say.
Yeah, this is
is
probably
this the-
against the law.
Is this the same group of motherfuckers that's been shooting ash arrows at him?
That's a good question, and I don't think so.
It's not. Is this the last chapter that was read?
No, there are 2 more.
Okay, so in this chapter, this is where my new winnowing issue came up.
Chapter 47.
Yes, because she winnows here, right?
She does to
Okay.
get past them.
And she describes the experience as though she freezes time and moves around them,
She did. She did talk about it like time slowed down.
and she can like see it, and she's moving from one place to another, like while time is frozen, and then popping out and it, like unfreezes while she's in another space. And then I'm like, hold the fucking phone here.
Yeah.
So am I like up in Valaris, begin winnow, and then I just foot travel to the Spring
No.
Court, and then
I think
what the fuck is
I
that?
think this is only the second time she's winnowed. So I'm not sure that we have a great she doesn't understand how it's happening, so she's just describing it. I don't know, man. Because it does sound a little Neo Matrix, like he slows down time and is actually just moving super fast. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe she just moves super like flash speed.
Maybe hers
and-
is a little different, a little better than everybody else's. But if they
Yeah.
are moving like mega fast, that leaves a lot of problems for them to like run into shit
Yeah.
like walls.
Now, something just maybe more interesting than that. No, we've seen her shapeshift so far. She's shapeshifted into the Summer Court High Lord, right, to get past the lead wall.
Right.
But
Here,
that scene was very much like a fever dream. Like I wasn't clear to me that was actually happening, or if she was like
I'm with you. I wasn't sure. I couldn't gather if she
doing
was
an
just saying like
illusion or something.
and then I became him. I was him, and like mentally enough to
I
convince.
took it
the
as
thing.
physical.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of both, and I couldn't decide.
Yeah. You know what that tells us though? That guy did not have an impressive member because she didn't comment on it.
Right.
It's true.
Right.
I could feel,
She
I
could
could
get into
feel
it.
my whole body, my rippling muscles, the length of it.
The impressive length of me between my thighs.
Yeah, she didn't say it, so we can assume it's not.
Maybe
the
that's why the book knew that she wasn't that High Lord.
case.
Like, I am the
Oh,
High Lord. And the book was like,
You didn't get something right.
there's something that I'm seeing there that's a little bigger than what our High Lords have been packing around here to pick up books.
You made assumptions, lady, and they cost you dearly.
Dearly.
She shapeshifts here after winnowing, and she feels something in her back. She sprouts some wings, boy. She's a bad boy.
Yeah, she's a bat bitch.
Whoa!
Yeah.
She's a baddie.
And she feels them. She feel like this isn't like
Oh, no.
This isn't an apparition. She
Is it-
feels it like it's hers because she's talking
It's
about how
horny
sensitive they
wings?
are.
She's gonna get
They're horny
railed
wings.
on them things, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Lucian's all
So,
like, "You
they
gotta
get
come
Lucian to
home.
leave.
Please, you gotta come home. You don't know how bad things have gotten. Ianthe is just like things got really bad."
Did that give you the impression that maybe she's been brought to heal Ianthe? Like,
I don't know.
He said something like she was out of control. So that tells me like, oh, maybe she's not out of control anymore.
I'll tell you, Sarah left the spring court just a little too long for me to care much about what's going on there anymore.
Yeah.
She should have been dropping little hints, little somethings, little nuggets,
Yeah.
little nuggets.
He's
along the
still
way.
drinking the Tamlin juice, though. He's like, you have no idea how volatile those first few months were. We needed to present a united, obedient front. I'm like, dude, get off.
Yeah,
of
but
there.
she lets him have it. She really bat bitches him.
She does.
She's like,
Does she
"You let
winnow
me
and,
rot."
and fight them?
No, what was going to
No,
happen
it
was
was-
he was coming. He's super fast, and she's like, "I know if he gets one hand on me, we're gone. We're immediately back to the spring court." So he reached for her, and right before he touched her, she winnowed behind all of them.
Yeah.
Nice. Slap
He's
his
like-
butt on the way out.
He's like, "Yeah, Pharaoh, what have you done to yourself? Look
Oh,
at you,
God, you-
disgusting.
God, you used your
Hideous.
powers.
Oh, you're hideous."
Don't you know what a target you'll put on your back?
Yeah, he says things got bad. Ianthe got out of hand. It makes it seem past tense, but I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
Whole spring court's full of bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that guy before.
Yeah, I liked him in book one.
Now this next chapter.
He's a fucking cuck now.
The mask came off and we got to see the real person.
Yeah.
The chapter we ended on a spicy one.
Ooh,
This is the
finally
spiciest,
gonna consummate
spiciest
this
chapter
marriage.
so far. No,
Yeah, isn't
no,
that crazy?
this is more foreplay.
Isn't this crazy though? Like the chapters that are about, like when you finally get to this chapter, it's about sex. It is just that is the whole chapter.
I gotta say, I'm impressed at how long of a sex scene you can write where
Yeah.
The
sex
length of it.
doesn't happen.
The link, it's an impressive link.
It's impressively lengthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This courtship is impressively lengthy.
So what are we talking here? We talking touching, we talking mouth stuff, we talking a little bit
We're smooching.
mostly playful banter.
We're in a very cold inn. Yeah, Ken's got it there. We're in a very cold inn, and we have
Ah,
to get under the covers because there's only one bed in this room. Gotta
Yeah.
get under the covers and cuddle to stay warm. But there won't be any mouth stuff right now because if there were, then he would moan so loud he'd crack a mountain.
That's true.
What he said.
Yeah, roar, right?
He'd let out a roar that would crack a mountain.
And he wants to.
if he's getting mouth stuff. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
and also he wants to properly bed her. Hold on. He wants to properly bed her. He wants to fuck her against a wall.
Yep.
Right. He wants
And he wants to
either
put her on a table.
splay her-
Mr.
He wants to splay her
Mr.
on a
High
dinner
Lord, that's
table.
not proper at all.
He wants to splay her on a dinner table and eat her like a feast.
Yep.
Right.
It's some spicy
Man.
language.
My man has a lot of feelings.
He does. Yeah. So it was a spicy chapter. We had some rabbit stew, and that must have just got those
Yeah, rabbit
what do
stew
you-
is an aphrodisiac,
aphrodisiacs. Yeah.
as it commonly is. It's why the people in the South have so many kids
Because of the rabbits.
because the rabbits they
The
eat,
rabbits that they
Okay.
eat.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
and
why.
then they fuck like rabbits. That's where it all comes from.
Oh, that must be.
Wait, is that real? That might be real.
People in the South having lots of kids.
You want to
because
solve
they eat rabbits?
abiogenesis, and I'm actually just now what I want to solve is why the deep Southerners are poorly educated and have a lot of children. I think it's because they
need
eat
them to
rabbits
work on
and
the
then
farm.
No, it's because rabbits fuck a lot, and then they eat, they hunt and
Yes.
eat rabbits, and then it makes them
Uh-huh.
fuck a lot.
Yes. Yep.
Oh. So that's it. That's it. We end with
Amazing.
them going to sleep. They
That
don't.
was a lot of
they don't-
content in like that many pages there at the end that I'd still have to read.
Holy shit!
What?
Rabbits have been used as an aphrodisiac in the past, and some studies suggest that rabbit
Oh my
meat and
God.
extracts may have aphrodisiac properties. I was totally right about that shit. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah. And sparrow brains too.
Oh, skip that
Sparrow
one.
brains.
Spare brains.
Okay, now let me. An aphrodisiac is what you give to somebody to make them horny for you. Is that correct, or is
I
it?
think it's what you take to get horny.
I think it's just a general horniness
Okay.
booster.
I just need a strong
Yeah.
wind. That's all I need. I don't
Yeah. Wind is an aphrodisiac for me. It gets me going.
Oh.
Yeah, it stimulates, increases sexual desire. Or thought to anyway.
know.
Yeah, I
thought
don't
it was
know if
supposed
there's
to-
any
yeah.
like
I believe it's
anything
pseudoscience.
that actually does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I had the misfortune of listening to some weird fucking dude on the internet tell a story about how he took a Blue Chew and then drove like a 4-hour drive, and he was just bricked the whole time. And he kept talking about how he wanted to stop and fuck a lizard on the side of the road, or fuck a tailpipe, or fuck an animal, or whatever. It was really weird, man. Some people are weird. I bet Blue Chew probably would sponsor us.
Probably. Like you guys talk. We should actually try to get
Let's talk about
Blue
nothing
Chew.
but your dicks.
Trojan, hymns. I know
Yeah.
we can get a lot of them. Like we talk about dicks more than probably any podcast you've ever heard.
We're
Probably.
advancing male health in that way.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I had an actual honest question about the book so far.
How's your dick?
I know. How's your and then we log off. Boom. That'd have been sick. How do you guys feel about it? We've read a couple romance novels now.
Mhm. Would you call Verity a romance novel?
Enough
Enough, yeah, right.
of one.
Sure.
Okay, so there's obviously always a lot of discussion about like
Calling it a romance
Um,
novel is like calling porn a documentary, I think.
yeah. There's always a lot of discussion going on about women's appearance
Okay.
and being objectified and things like that, and like the standard being so high. Okay, and here's what a woman should look like, and then everybody fights against it, right?
Mhm.
As rightfully they should. But then we read books like this, and how do you guys feel about it being portrayed about the men, the sexual appearance, like the desirable man, always being basically the same as well? Where it's always like, instead of being, with a woman, oh, she's like thin and curvy in all the right places and she's totally beautiful. Well, the men are always like 6'4", totally
Super
ripped.
jacked.
Yeah, totally jacked and ripped, and they have like dark hair or long blonde hair and a giant penis. What are you guys thoughts on that? Do you
I love
do you
it. Big
do you,
fan.
do you think about it at all? Do you care about, like, would you want to see standard, like a regular guy, the actual like average man represented ever in this? Like, is it like, why can't an average guy?
I bet those
be-
books are
be-
out there.
Why can't the average guy be like the desirable,
Mhm.
like the sex object in one
Like-
of the books?
He's got the love handles, and he doesn't have a lot of muscle definition, but like he really cares a lot about my pleasure, and that's important.
Yeah, it's like I pulled out the length of him, and it was,
Right.
Adequate.
yeah, it wasn't. It was.
Really
It wasn't
adequate.
anything. It was nothing. It was nothing to write home about. But
He finished earlier than I did and made a weird noise and fell over. In that moment, I loved him so much.
yeah, exactly.
I think
He said thank you at the end,
It-
and I swore to him it was okay. He cried a little bit.
it's
He called me an Uber.
it is
paid for it.
jarring a little bit to see how much, especially Reese, and I feel like it was really laying on thick, where it's just like he's the superlative male, right? He's just the most handsome and the most muscly, and his tattoos look so good, and his wings are the biggest, and he's got
the most powerful
most
in the realm.
interesting violet eyes. He's the most powerful, and also is apparently an impressive length on his penis. And it's just like there comes a point where you're like, well, this. It does kind of start to like sound the alarm in my brain that is like, hey, we're like about to lose immersion because this stupid idea is stupid. But on the other hand, I also think that, for one thing, obviously these books are about like love and fantasy, and like it's I mean, honestly, dude, like these books are for people to jerk off to. So like I don't know what, like, not me, I'm not necessarily the target market for that, but like this stuff, like it's designed to make people horny, and for the same reason that like there's I guess a lot less porn of people that are like depart from our like high societal standards of like body beauty or whatever. It's kind of that same thing. It's like there's only so much demand out there for like granny porn, and there's only so much demand for like for romance novels where instead of Fabia you get fucking Tim Allen,
Right. Tim Allen porn. The world needs more of it. Yeah, but she makes a comment in a later chapter too about like, obviously I knew all High Lords were like have incredible sexual prowess, but
Right.
and I'm like, and I read them like, why? What about being a High Lord means like you're dope
Right.
at sex? Why are they all dope at sex?
Do you telling me that Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump are equally as good at sex just because they both lead countries?
They both are leaders of men.
Way.
So
Yeah.
they have sexual prowess.
Macron fucks for sure.
Yeah,
I do
Trudeau
think
fucks.
Trudeau fucks for sure.
Oh my.
I do think
The High Lord of Canada.
Oh, the Northern Court.
is the Winter
Trudeau.
Court.
Yeah, the High Lord of the Winter Court.
To be charitable to the author on the subject of like Rhysand particularly being like superlatively handsome and stuff. There's part of me that wants to argue like maybe, well, the way we should consider this is that this book is about the feeling of being in love, right? And when you are feeling that, it like literally, when you're like first getting to know somebody and you're like, wow, like I think this person, we really jive together and like this could really go somewhere, and you're like all excited about the relationship. Or if you got an enemies to lovers thing going on, I don't know what your story is, right? But like in those early days, whenever you're really starting to like fall in love with somebody, the fucking world shines, and you're like, everything about the person is good, and even things that are like kind of character, you can sit there and watch them like break the arms of their own uncle for pure cruelty and be like, I don't know, I think he's an all right guy. I really think he's had a good reason to do that. And so I think it's just, part of it may just be that the author wants to put in love goggles on Feyre.
Yeah, sure. I suppose.
Okay.
We did it. I mean, that sounds like it's it, right?
That is it. And so we're reading to the end now.
Yeah, let me put it up. I'll put up the next little readings we're doing here. It is to the end, but here are the actual numbers. It looks like we're going to be meeting.
Did this bitch put 69 chapters in this book?
Tell me about it. I can't wait to see what happens in that chapter.
Sarah, I see you.
Yet.
So my students warned me about like chapter 52 or something like that. So
Ooh, we're close.
Oh, yeah, I read that chapter.
is it 52?
It's
Is it
close enough to. I
Yeah.
don't want. I can't say definitively. It sounds accurate.
Yeah.
But wowza.
Wowza.
Oh, great.
You got a wowza out of this week. So I should listen to it on speakerphone.
I think you should listen to it at work on a
On the
Bluetooth
radio.
speaker.
In the,
You guys mind
in
if
the
I put an
lobby.
audiobook on while we're all here?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, okay, this one's gonna be 3 weeks. We've got to take a little bit of a time off for fucking work stuff, real life work stuff.
Boo.
But 3 weeks from now, we're gonna finish it up. After that, we're gonna transition a little bit, get
We're gonna do some other
into
shit.
doing a little bit of TTRP, a little tabletop role playing, and that's gonna be the shit. Don't miss that. Pretty sure we're gonna do vampire.
Okay.
Little Vampire the
Gonna be
Masquerade.
so much sucking.
So much sucky, necky, sucky. It's gonna be great. So tune in for those things. Oh, I didn't change over our music. I feel like such a dumb slut. Here we go.
I was just gonna say that about you.
But hey,
Yeah.
Prater was dropping in. Prater, thanks for
Hey-o.
dropping in, man.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope to see you again next time. Get your stream back up
Yeah.
and running. That was a good stream. I understand life comes in and things aren't as important as streaming yourself, yelling at video games, but it's fun to watch. So bring it back, Holmes. Is this how the millennials do it? Here we go.
I feel like there's a whole thing. I just stay away from all of this stuff that's like even remotely generational, because even if it's like you're trying to do the thing, I feel like you're just a kid's gonna burst out of the wall and laugh at me for doing it wrong.
By the
You
way,
can't do that with your pinkies.
this is a stretch, Prater, but you may recognize this music. We made this song at the same time that we made the track for that STD song that we did. If you remember, I need to play that. I need to stream that live sometime. It's still on YouTube.
Is that the STD song that you did for Cult?
Yeah, no, it was for a youth group. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it was the I don't want to get an STD.
Yeah.
Prater's the one who does the screaming, the growling vocals, yeah. We used to be pretty cool. Yeah, it was the best.
So good.
And you don't want to get one from me. So let's start having breathe a little sex of any kind. You know who needs that song? Feyre and Reese. They needed that song in their lives. He might not have been finger banging her in the middle of the nightmare court. Ooh, okay.
They passing around a lot of STDs in the Fey realms.
I don't know.
Could be.
guys, they get syphilis.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
So we